These are my Cy Young dark horse picks for the 2024 season. Similarly to the MVP picks, you have to have odds of plus 2,000 or higher in order to be considered a dark horse Cy Young pick. And for each league, I'm going to give you one crazy pick where the odds are plus 5,000 or higher on FanDuel Sportsbook. Again, if gambling is not your thing, totally get it, but I think this video still has value to you because these are just some sleeper picks, even if you're playing fantasy sports, as guys that I think have the ability to be one of the best pitchers in their league. So of course, as always, if you enjoy the content and you're excited for baseball season to start, make sure to drop a like on the video, as well as subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the content coming at you. Follow me on my Twitter at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links are in the description. But first, I want to tell you about today's video sponsor, Aura. Are you tired of receiving spam phone calls to the point where you don't even want to answer your phone anymore? That's because data brokers will sell your information, including your phone number, to robocallers, spammers, hackers, anybody that wants to get more information on you. That's right, your full name, your email, your home address, your health records, it's all out there. That's why I've been using Aura. Aura shows you which data brokers are selling your information and automatically asks them to opt out so you no longer have to deal with this. Because let's be honest, when me or you try to do it on our own, they make it really hard. But Aura, it's easy, just like that. Not only does this stop the scammers and hackers from getting your private information, but it also stops them from being able to access private accounts such as social media or bank accounts. Aura is literally always on duty, looking to keep you safe and protected online. So stop data brokers from exposing your personal info today and go to my sponsor, aura.com/GiraffeNeckMarc, to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold. That's aura.com/GiraffeNeckMarc for a free 14-day trial. Thank you to Aura for sponsoring today's video. Getting it started with the National League this time, I've got Aaron Nola of the Philadelphia Phillies coming in as a plus 2,500 odds pick to win the National League Cy Young. I don't care how bad Aaron Nola was, that 4.46 ERA, not true, not real. He didn't actually pitch that bad. He still is a guy who strikes out batters more than average pitchers do. He doesn't give up any walks. He has good extension. His chase rate is incredible. He lives in the shadow of the zone. Yeah, he doesn't throw 97, 98, 95, 96 miles an hour, but his stuff is really good. His curveball is fantastic, of course, rocking a 33% whiff rate on that pitch last year. Even the changeup and the cutter were extremely successful. I expect Aaron Nola to bounce back completely. He gives you 200 innings every year, which is super helpful for the Cy Young. He has the ability to strike out 200 plus batters in a season, and he doesn't walk anybody on a good team. Aaron Nola, I feel like, is kind of a low-key amazing pick. Another low-key really good pick could be Sonny Gray of the St. Louis Cardinals, coming in at plus 3,000 odds to win the National League Cy Young. Now, the thing with Sonny Gray is going to be the innings. Last year was the most innings he's thrown in his career in quite some time. So as long as he's able to accumulate the innings, he's definitely going to be in the race like he was last year in the American League. Last year, he had a career season, a 2.79 ERA and 184 innings, a whip at 1.15. What he did that made him special and stood out from the pack last year was the fact that his sweeper, kind of a relatively new pitch for him, was dominant. A 41% whiff rate on the pitch that he threw the second most in all of his games, rocking a close to 30% whiff rate as well with the curveball and the cutter. Sonny Gray is another one of those guys whose stuff doesn't jump off the page at you, but when he's pitching and when he's on, he has the ability to be one of the better pitchers in the league. And especially playing in St. Louis with that great defense and that big ballpark, I think that could really help out Sonny Gray this upcoming season. For the third National League pitcher, I think is a dark horse Cy Young candidate, I've got Freddie Peralta of the Milwaukee Brewers, again at plus 3,000. Peralta just feels like he's ready for that true, honest breakout. We've seen him be a good pitcher for the last 3-4 seasons in Milwaukee, but now he has a chance to be the ace of that staff, be the #1 guy, and really take that step forward as one of the better pitchers in baseball. Last year in 165 innings, 210 Ks, that's a K rate of 30.9%, puts him in the 92nd percentile in Major League Baseball. He had a whiff rate as well in the 92nd percentile. People just don't hit Freddie Peralta well. The guy is disgusting. He's nasty. And his slider is genuinely one of the best pitches in baseball with a 45% whiff rate, and opponents hitting only 200 against that pitch last season. So as long as Peralta can stay healthy, make 32, 33 starts for the Brewers in what is still relatively a weaker division in the National League, there's no reason why Freddie Peralta can't be a Cy Young candidate, especially with the stuff that he's got on the mound. Now, I know this next player looked terrible in spring, but it's spring training, we don't care. Joe Musgrove of the San Diego Padres coming in as a plus 3,500 odds player to win the National League Cy Young. Musgrove last year was low-key disgusting. While his K rate didn't match his stuff, he was 99th percentile in chase rate at 35.5%. Expected ERA was 90th percentile at 3.11, built off of his 3.05 ERA in just about 100 innings last season. Nobody was really hitting the ball hard. Nobody was barreling it at all. He was getting a ton of ground balls, 46% ground ball rate, and he doesn't walk anybody. So couple that with a good fastball, 5 really good pitches, like get rid of the sinker and you'll be even better. That changeup had a 40% whiff rate. The slider had a 34% whiff rate. The curveball had a 34% whiff rate. It was really just the cutter getting hit pretty hard. It's going to be weird in San Diego this year because the team is going to be competitive, but also like kind of not, but also they are. Joe Musgrove, San Diego kid, California guy. I think he's going to have a big season, and as long as he's healthy, he'll definitely be in the Cy Young conversation. It's good value. And then for my crazy pick in the National League, plus 10,000 odds to win the Cy Young, I'm going with Nick Lodolo. Now, this one is, again, crazy. We haven't seen Nick Lodolo throw more than 100 100 innings ever at the major league level. And last year, coming off an injury-riddled season, it could be interesting to see what he does this year. But when Nick Lodolo is on the mound, there is no doubt he is one of the nastiest left-handed pitchers in all of baseball. A chase rate last year in a small sample of 32.3%, whiff rate at 30.4, K rate at 28.3, and the thing that I love about Lodolo, didn't walk anybody last year. A 6% walk rate with a high ground ball rate in Cincinnati is a recipe for success. And again, that curveball is disgusting. One of the best curveballs in all of baseball. The fastball can hit the mid-90s from the left-hand side with some crazy movement. In my conversations with Major League Baseball players, Nick Lodolo is a name that constantly comes up as one of the toughest pitchers to hit and track in all of the league. So at plus 10,000, sure, I'm going to take a chance on the guy who has devastating stuff that some of the best hitters in baseball have a hard time hitting. Again, this is a crazy pick, but I like how crazy it is with Nick Lodolo. Moving on to the American League now, another left-handed pitcher who's just criminally underrated. Tariq Skubal coming in at plus 2,000. As long as Tariq Skubal is healthy this year, which that's the big question mark, we've seen him throw 150 innings, the most in his major league career, he has the ability to be the best pitcher in the American League. Last year in 80 innings, he was devastatingly good. We're talking a 2.8 ERA, 102 strikeouts, a whip at 0.9, striking out 32.9% of the batters he faced, walking only 4.5%. The expected numbers loved him as well. 96th percentile in K rate and walk rate. Barrel rate was at the 94th percentile. Ground ball rate 87th percentile. Expected ERA 100th, like the best expected ERA. And when you break down the pitches again, looking at a guy with a high 90s fastball from the left-hand side, a changeup that had a 50% whiff rate last year, disgusting, and he still has a good curveball and slider. He has all the makings of a future ace. Maybe he even is an ace right now if you want to classify him there. Love his odds at plus 2,000. Heading out west for the Seattle Mariners on this next pick, Logan Gilbert at plus 2,500. Now, Logan Gilbert may not have the craziest of stuff. I mean, he still is a really good pitcher. What he does well, he limits base runners, a 4.7% walk rate last year was one of the best in the league, and he has crazy extension with that 6'6" frame of his, 99th percentile in the league. So that 96 mile per hour fastball, yeah, it's perceived a little bit faster because he's that much closer to you. We need to see him get that K rate up a little bit probably in order to actually really get into that Cy Young conversation. But in the American League West, in a pitcher-friendly ballpark, on a very competitive team with 4 really good pitches, there's no reason why Logan Gilbert can't be in the Cy Young conversation, especially with that nasty split finger. Like, that's the thing that separates him a lot for me with a lot of these other guys. That split finger can be the difference maker, along with that mid to upper 90s fastball. Trade deadline acquisition. Cole Reagans of the Kansas City Royals is up next, and he's coming in at plus 2,500 odds to win the Cy Young. Rangers probably could use him right about now. Royals are happy to have him because last year, once he came to Kansas City, he was rocking like a 32% K rate, an under 10% walk rate. He absolutely popped off. And the pitch numbers and the values and the statistics, they love him. You're looking at a guy who sits 97 from the left-hand side with that fastball. The changeup, really, really good. A 34.4% whiff rate. Even that slider, a pitch he didn't throw that often, 40% whiff rate on that. The only pitch that really got hit well last year was the cutter. Maybe we scrapped that. Otherwise, 4 really good pitches for a guy who, again, gets a ton of whiffs, a ton of strikeouts. They don't really barrel the ball up against him. He's going to be in the weakest division in baseball, playing in one of the most pitcher-friendly parks. So a recipe for success if you're Cole Reagans. For my 4th dark horse in the American League to win the Cy Young, I've got Zach Eflin of the Tampa Bay Rays at plus 2,700. Do you guys know how good Zach Eflin was last year? Feels like he might be the most underrated pitcher in baseball right now. 31 starts, 177 innings with a 3.5 ERA, struck out 186 batters, and had a whip at 1.02. K rate at 26%. Walk rate at 3.4% is like genuinely so crazy low. He doesn't give up any base runners whatsoever. 95th percentile in chase rate at 34%. Expected ERA was even lower than what his ERA was at 3.02. Good ground ball rates. They don't hit the ball hard. They don't barrel him up. Zach Eflin's just casually good. Like, he's not necessarily sexy or exciting to watch, but for a guy who threw 7 different pitches last year, more realistically 6, but 7 technically in total, it's really hard to get a good read on him, and the stuff is nasty. The only thing you would really want is maybe that fastball that he throw a little bit harder. But like, honestly, at the end of the day, with those 5-6 different pitches that he has, a 93 mile per hour fastball that's really more for stealing strikes at this point, Zach Eflin feels like he could be a really good pick for this Rays team who needs someone to step up and be that ace now that Tyler Glasnow's gone. I think Eflin's going to be that guy. And then the last player in today's video for the American League, of course, it's going to be a super dark horse with crazy odds at plus 6,500. I'm going with Carlos Rodon of the New York Yankees. I'm not giving up on Rodon yet. He is way too good to be as bad as he was last year. I mean, look at 2021 and 2022. He was low-key one of the better pitchers in baseball. Last year was weird. He was injured, new place, big money, a lot of expectations with the Yankees. It didn't work out. But as long as Rodon stays healthy, I believe he has the ability to be one of the best pitchers in the American League. Now, of course, that division is going to be hell. And that ballpark is really tough to pitch in, especially for a guy who tends to give up some fly balls. But the stuff is nasty for Carlos Rodon when he is healthy. That fastball can touch the upper 90s. That slider, even in a bad year last year, still had a near 40% whiff rate. And the curveball and changeup are good complementary pitches to add to those 2 dominant ones with the 4-seam and curveball. Again, I need to pick a crazy pick here, and out of all of them, Carlos Carlos Rodon was the one that was jumping out the most to me. Is he going to win the Cy Young? Probably not. But do I expect a huge bounce back for him? That is without a doubt happening. So there they are, my 10 dark horse picks to win the American League and National League Cy Young in their respective leagues. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking down in the comment section below. Give me your dark horse picks. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it, as well as subscribe so you don't miss out on the content coming at you all season long. And follow me on all my social media at GiraffeNeckMarc. Links are in the description. Thank you guys for watching. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload, so click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another video. Bye.